On Saturday, July 10th, fans watched Conor McGregor lose to Dustin Poirier via doctor stoppage at UFC 264, with the Irish fighter unable to continue after taking an injury to the ankle. Following the fight, UFC President Dana White hinted that McGregor and Poirier would fight one another again. The fight didn't get finished. You can't have a fight finished that way, he said. Who knows how long Conor's out? Poirier will do his thing until Conor's ready. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at Poirier's career and some of the potential fights he's got coming up. Stay tuned. So who is Dustin Poirier and what does his career look like so far? Dustin Poirier began his mixed martial arts career in 2007, fighting as an amateur on local cards, most of which were in his home state of Louisiana. He turned pro in 2009, subsequently finishing all of his opponents on his way to getting signed by the WEC, which then merged with the UFC. And today, Dustin is one of the most distinguished lightweight fighters in the history of mixed martial arts. The former interim champion has inspired countless MMA fans around the world with a professional demeanor both outside and inside the octagon. As of July 2021, the fighter sits at number 1 in the UFC lightweight rankings. And the young fighter's making a difference outside of the ring too. He's raised over $300,000 by auctioning off his fight kits throughout his career. And Dustin's foundation, the Good Fight Foundation, is committed to helping those in need. His humanitarian work reaches far and wide, from providing clean drinking water to the Batwa pygmy children of Uganda to donating food to the hospitals in his hometown of Lafayette during the pandemic. Poirier took home a big payday for his fight against Conor McGregor. But who's next? Well, we don't know yet, but rumors are flying. Recently, speaking on Ariel Helwani's revamped The MMA Hour, Poirier was asked if he'd be pursuing a fight against the current champion Charles Oliveira, or if his recent Twitter interactions with Nate Diaz indicated he'd be pursuing yet another money fight with a high-profile name. Dustin Poirier responded by stating both fights have some interest for him. However, nothing's been locked in as of yet. Both are potential opponents. I need to have my phone ring and talk to the UFC about their plans and what they're going to do, he said. A fourth fight for Poirier versus McGregor could also be in the works, even sitting in the octagon with a broken leg. Conor managed to yell, "This is not over," at Dustin. The growing dislike between the two is what prompted Poirier to say, "We're gonna fight again," whether it's in the octagon or on the sidewalk during the UFC 264 post-fight press conference. He added, "It sucks, man, because I was gonna beat the guy if his leg would have held up." So let's take a deeper look at some of the possibilities. First up is Oliveira. This one's looking pretty definite. There's a Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier title fight planned for December, and the newly crowned lightweight champion is feeling pretty confident. "I believe in the firepower in my hands, but I think in a fight against Dustin, I believe I can submit him," Oliveira told MMA Fighting. "Working with my hands, with my strikes would definitely cause a lot of damage and then submit him. It's going to be a great fight if this one really happens," Oliveira continued. "It's going to be a great show and I'm ready on the feet and on the ground. I'm well both mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm happy. Let's go. We'll be defending what's ours in December." UFC President Dana White has said he feels Oliveira versus Poirier is the route to go next. That said, Poirier also made it a point to let Ariel Helwani know that he still has some negotiating to do with the UFC before anything comes to fruition. So what about Nathan Diaz? Diaz is a name that Poirier is a bit more familiar with. The two were scheduled to fight a year ago at the UFC 230, but Poirier withdrew from the matchup due to a hip injury that needed surgery. And then on August 11th, following Dustin's fight with Conor McGregor, the lightweight champion sent a one-word tweet that sent rumors flying. "Nathan? Let's fight. Don't be scared this time though," Diaz replied. There seemed to be a mixed response from the fans, with some calling instead for a rematch with McGregor, while others were excited for the prospect of a Poirier-Diaz fight, the fight that everyone really wants. "Take the fight, Dustin. Bless MMA fans everywhere," one fan tweeted. Diaz is currently on a 2-fight losing streak after falling to Jorge Masvidal and Leon Edwards. While Poirier may have his sights set on the lightweight title bout with Charles Oliveira, many will be curious if Diaz's words will get to him and whether a long-awaited Diaz-Poirier fight is potentially in the cards. Diaz looks like a solid match for Poirier's next fight, or will we see him take on Conor McGregor for the 4th time? UFC President Dana White doesn't consider the rivalry between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor to be over after UFC 264. But how and when a 4th fight materializes is up in the air. "It sucks," White said at the post-UFC 264 press conference. "It's brutal. It's not the way you want to see fights end. Dustin Poirier will fight for the title, and when Conor is healed and ready to go, you do the rematch. I guess. I don't know. And the UFC chief added that he didn't see Poirier's first round win due to a doctor's stoppage as definitive. The fight didn't get finished, he said. You can't have a fight finish that way. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out. Who knows how long Conor's out, so Poirier will do his thing until Conor's ready. Although it seems as if the fight was going in Poirier's favor, White wasn't sure that the result would have been the same without the injury. Near the end of the first round, Poirier had McGregor trapped against the fence and was raining down heavy elbows, but he still didn't think McGregor was out of the fight. He got back up on his feet and started throwing punches, White said. His ankle snapped from throwing punches. He was fighting back. It wasn't like he was up against the cage and defenseless and was unloading on it. And for White, the ending to the fight was as much about the perception of what happened in the octagon as the actual outcome. The story is, Conor broke his ankle instead of Dustin looked good, he said. So it looks like Dana White is up for the Poirier-McGregor rematch, but is Poirier? The rematch is there, White said in a press statement. You've got the rematch with him like you've got the rematch with Nate Diaz. It's always going to be there. I don't know what the landscape's going to look like when he's ready, so to say definitively, I can't right here, right now, but you always have that rematch. If Poirier beats Oliveira, McGregor could earn a title shot despite having lost 3 of his last 4 fights, but Poirier will demand he wins a fight first. Conor McGregor is 1-4 in the lightweight division. Yeah, he has to win some fights, but like I said, if he goes out and starches somebody, he's right back in the title picture, he said. McGregor has had some pretty intense surgery, but it seems like he's recovering well. Scan went well, scan went very well. To be back on the bike, I'm back on the bike before he said I was going to be able to bear weight, McGregor said during an Instagram live. I'm rocking and well ahead of schedule. Let's keep it going. It was good news. Good news at the docks. I think this bone is back together, to be honest. The ankle is feeling great. I've got flip-flops on. I'm out of the boot. I've got the flip-flops on, so that's a good sign. I'm still jacked as well, bro. It ain't over. We're only warming up. Still fresh. Still untouched. You still can't get to me. And whilst he's happy with the progress he's making, McGregor is wary of following the example of UFC middleweight Chris Weidman, who had to undergo a second surgery on his leg injury last week. I'm being careful with it. I'm listening to what the doctors are saying. Everything else I can't physically do. I'm not pushing it too far after seeing what happened to Weidman recently, he added. It's in the back of my head that I go in there and maybe they say, it's not connected again. You have to go through this again. Look what happened to Weidman. I don't think that's the case for me. I know that's not the case with me. I'm a little bit nervous. So will McGregor and Poirier fight again, or will the fighter go on to battle Diaz or Oliveira, or will someone else take to the ring? Let us know what your predictions are in the comments. Who do you think Dustin will take on next? But for now, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching.